In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 habits that you absolutely need to break immediately in order to get the lean, attractive V-taper physique that you desire. These are the same habits that held me back from getting the lean physique that I desired and ultimately from changing my life. Not only because when I look in the mirror and I'm satisfied with what I see and that I gain attention from the results that I have and people actually listen to me when I speak because of my physique, but it also changed my life because these habits that I learned, that I instilled into my life, that I practice daily, every single day, 24 hours, are the same habits that allowed me to grow outside of my physique. They allowed me to grow financially. They allowed me to get the job and for me to hunker down and for me to learn the learning process of something new and apply those same metrics, apply those same habits and traits that I learned to getting a physique that I want. So let's be real. You don't have a getting lean problem. You have a problem with staying consistent. Most men keep following the same soft habits that are holding them back from getting a lean physique. Starting at number 1, you're not holding yourself accountable and responsible for the actual calories that you're intaking. You come home, you grab a handful of chips, you grab some snacks, you start grazing, and you're not tracking that. And some people won't even track anything at all and just say the food is healthy. Why am I not getting the results that I want? Let's be realistic here. The dream physique that you have, the physique that you want, is within the 1 to 5% range of the entire population on this planet Earth. In order for you to achieve that physique, you have to set yourself apart with the daily habits that you do. It has to be so far against the grain that when you tell other people, they look at you like you're crazy, which is the same look I get every single time when people ask me, why do you have your weight scale? Why do you have your food? Why do you have a food scale? Why do you keep eating the same foods every day? Yo, what are you having for lunch today? And I say, oh, it's the same thing I'm eating for the past 8 months. They look at you crazy. They give you this little weird side eye. But they're the ones who want the same physique that you have or the same physique that you desire. And they're not implementing any sort of change to get them nowhere near the physique that they want. So that's the first habit that you have to break. You're not in a caloric deficit. You're not even tracking your calories. Those are the things that you're going to have to do. This is not for people that want to be motivated to work out, that want to be motivated to get the physique by summer. We're only in January. We are 6 months away from the summer. That is more than enough time to get you that physique. I'd offer one-on-one coaching for 14 weeks. You can see immense amount of results within 14 weeks. You can see world-changing results in 6 months. You just got to be consistent, you got to be patient, and you got to want to learn the information, apply it every day, and practice it every day. Not so that you can be perfect, but so that you can learn what doesn't work, so you learn what does work. Tough, bro. Number 2, you reward yourself every time when you try. I used to do this a lot. I used to reward myself when I would try to change my physique, but when it didn't work, it wasn't really rewarding myself. It was actually just eating out of emotions. It was trying to get dopamine from the food. That's one thing you're going to have to kill immediately. Short-term gratification doesn't exist in terms of building a physique for longevity, building a lean physique. Because let's be honest, when you want to get lean, for the people that want to get lean, they want to have this lean physique. They want to have a substantial amount of muscle. They want to have a decent amount of muscle mass, like myself, and have a lean physique. They don't want to be huge, but they don't want to be too small. You have to build habits that are going to last you for the rest of your life in order to achieve that. It's going to take time to build that muscle. It's going to take time to lose that fat. It's not going to happen in 24 to 48 hours. So if that fails, that doesn't mean that you can just, fuck it, let's go to Chipotle. Nah, fuck it. They don't even go to Chipotle. Fuck it, let's go to Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, and just, order the whole menu because what I tried didn't work. That right there, that's emotional eating. You're eating because something didn't work for you, and you now have to resort to getting dopamine from your food instead of actually being patient with the progress or the process and getting the dopamine when you look 14 weeks out, 6 months out, 8 months out, and you can finally be happy with yourself, not for one day, but for the rest of your life. You can be happy as a result of the habits that you learned in between that time that led up to that point. You need to rewire your brain that discipline is the prize. Every time you say no, you are standing on business. You're standing on ground. You're standing in your ways to, no, I'm in control of this situation. This is what I want to eat because I want this result. This is what I'm going to eat because I want this result. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to train this intense. I'm going to stay focused and locked in on what I'm doing because these are the results that I want. I want the lean physique. I want the shoulder to waist ratio. I want to look in the mirror and be happy with myself. I want to be in a situation where if I have to take my shirt off, or if I want to take my shirt off, I'm going to be fully confident in me doing so. I want the respect that I gain from people just because, not only from my physique, but because of my habits. There's going to be times where you're practicing, you're instilling these habits, these practices, and people are going to look at you, like I said, weird, because you're eating the same food. They see that you have the boring plate, what looks boring plate to them, the ground turkey, the ground chicken, the ground beef, the ground rice, or the ground turkey, the ground chicken, the ground beef with the 4 ounces of rice. And they're going to see that you're eating that every single day. You got the food scale every single day. And from that alone, they see that you're not obese, that you don't have your stomach hanging over your belt. They see that you're in shape, you look youthful. And they're going to be like, just off that alone, without even seeing for your physique, they're going to be like, oh, something's different about this guy. He's not partaking in the work lunch. He's not partaking in the social eatings. He's not partaking in the pizza that we have here, or the pizza after work, or anything like that. He's not partaking in the drinks. He's not posting himself with the drinks. He's posting himself in the gym consistently. He's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, the little habits that you even do, people are going to appreciate. Like, people appreciate managers because they're at a certain status. They have clearly worked hard enough to get to that position. People are going to see the work that you're doing outside of your physique, and they're going to understand. Just like you could see the work someone does, and you could think to yourself, they must got some money. Financially, they must be set somewhere because of the traits that they have. It's the same way for your physique. The third reason, which I used to do heavily, was when the weekends come, or whatever weekend it is for you, I completely used to let go. You got to stop doing that as well. Just because you work hard Monday to Friday does not give you the right, relative to what your goal is, to go crazy for those 2 days, to completely undo what you have done for the Monday through Friday. If you really value the work, the working out consistently, the staying on your nutrition plan consistently to get the lean physique Monday through Friday, on Saturday and Sunday, you will refuse to let that be undone. You will be more focused on acquiring the physique that you wanted to achieve and wanting to maintain that than letting go for those 2 days and ruining that progress. Because once you ruin that progress, you're gonna have to start over. You're gonna have to instill those habits the next week. And it's not gonna take 1 week to see those results. It's gonna take 24 hours from the moment you wake up to the moment. Honestly, there is no end to it, because when you wake up in the morning, you got to make sure that you're setting yourself up for the rest of the day. And honestly, that starts with before you wake up. That starts with you going to sleep the day before. If you don't want to put in the work, the discipline, there's discipline to going to sleep. If you want to get the 8 to 10 hours of sleep that night, you got to say, all right, I got to maximize my time for this day in general so that I can be able to have the time to go to sleep the 8 to 10 hours, so that when I wake up, I have the energy. I don't have high ghrelin. I don't have high stress, so that I can not be hungry and I'm prepared for the day. And then you got to instill those habits for that day. You know what I'm saying? You see the cycle that it goes on. You got to instill it the day before. You got to set yourself up for success the day before. Your physique starts when you go to sleep. The moment you decide to go to sleep, and the moment you decide what you're going to be doing in your day to fill in that time. Number 4, you're overtraining yourself and you're undereating. There's a lot of people that go to the gym, they hop straight on the cardio machine, they hit the cardio, they start running, they start exhausting themselves on the cardio machine for about 30 minutes to an hour, just pushing themselves to almost failure. Then they get off the treadmill and they're doing 20 different exercises in 20 minutes. Okay, not only are you frying yourself physically, but you're frying yourself mentally. Just because you did all these workouts, you sweated everything out, that the results that you want, that's going to take 14 weeks, 6 months, 8 months, is going to come into fruition because you did one workout session in 1 day. I'm just here to tell you that's not going to happen. It's the same way how if you make X amount of money for an hourly wage and you work X amount of hours, it's going to take you this long to make $100,000. Within the parameters of your hourly wage and your hours that you work within the week, you can guesstimate how long it's going to take to make $100,000. There's a science to what we do. We can only produce so much muscle mass in a short amount of time. We can only lose so much fat in a short amount of time without losing as much muscle as possible. We can only maintain, or we can only grow a certain amount of muscle in a short amount of time, period. You can do it aggressive, or you can do it long term. If you do it long term, there's more likely for you to instill those habits and those practices, and so that you won't fall off of that, and that you can do this for the rest of your life. And if you want to do it aggressive, more likely that you fall off of that, and that it's not sustainable, and that it's too stressful for your body to continue doing, and you fall off of that, repeating the cycle over and over and over again. The only other way is introducing steroids, but there's still a limit to that, which is death. And nobody wants to die. We all want to maintain our physique and get in the best shape of our life because we want to build a healthy life. The last and final thing is you quit way too early before your body can even start to see progress. First week of you being in a caloric deficit, you're going to be in a caloric deficit. You're going to notice the scale change. That's the first problem, actually, is because you're looking at the scale to see results. When, if you want to get lean, you measure results not by the scale, but by what you see. You can use the scale as a tool, but it's not the only tool and use of measurement to figure out whether you're making progress or whether you're not making progress. You got to look in the mirror. You got to take pictures every week in order to get the physique that you want. And to notice actual change, you got to look in the mirror and see what is changing and what's not changing. If you hop on a scale and you're in a caloric deficit for 1 to 2 weeks, you're going to notice the scale go down by at least a couple pounds, whether that be 3, 5, 10. You're going to notice it go down. And then on the third week, it's going to be really stagnant. It's not going to change, or it might even go up. The reason why it's changing is because your water weight is fluctuating. You have now put yourself in a caloric deficit. You're eating less carbs, you're eating less protein, mainly the carbs though. You're eating less carbs. Your body has less carbohydrates to hold on to, less water to retain, less glycogen in your body. So it's going to shed that. It's going to come off immediately because you're in a caloric deficit. A lot of people get stuck on the number of the scale and think, why am I not losing any more weight? Why am I not losing any more water weight, which is what it actually is? Well, it's because your body is sustaining itself. It's now being acclimated to a new level. You don't want to get stuck on the scale thinking, why am I not losing weight? Your goal is to lose visceral body fat, okay? You look in the mirror, you don't want to lose weight. You want to retain as much muscle mass as possible. I promise you, you will not look like an IFBB pro bodybuilder because you're eating 0.8 grams per body weight of protein, or you're eating 1 gram of body weight per protein, okay? So you won't look like an IFBB pro bodybuilder unless you start taking steroids and you start maximizing that growth, which is not what we want to do. We want to maximize it relative to sustaining it for the rest of our life, not relative to hopping on stage, looking your absolute human perfect physique possible, okay? We want to look natural. We want to look attractive. We want to stay attractive. We want to be desirable to the public, which is going to gain you the most notoriety possible, okay? If you would like further guidance on this, I offer one-on-one coaching, 14-week transformation. I've transformed myself, learning the habits that I learned, and I stopped doing these habits that ultimately changed my life, as I said in the beginning. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.